But all right, here we go. September 27th, we're rocking and rolling. On a beautiful start to a Fall Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a great day. We're going to jump right into it. It's going to be a quick, fast, and efficient meeting. Okay. We're going to give you some things to be thinking about. The group from Bank of England is going to be on, is another vendor partner of ours who've been big supporters for us throughout the years, is going to come on to give you some perspective around rates and the market of the moment. And then we are going to jump into a conversation around what constitutes proof. Lots of questions around proof. Don't know what that is. Sheriff Reed will give you the update. But having said that, we always started out with a mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives right away in the beginning. And one of the things that within our belief system is equity and opportunities for all. And a great agent over in the North Shore office, brought a really cool opportunity for people in and around the Milwaukee area that it quite frankly is an incredibly well-attended event. And so brought this opportunity for us, or brought this opportunity forward. I thought it was incredibly powerful in terms of our belief system and equity and opportunities for all. So I'm going to flip it over to you to tell us a little bit more around rethinking everything and the power of change in the summit that's coming up on Wednesday, October 12th.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. So there's a super dope opportunity coming up on October 12th. It's an annual summit that Professional Dimensions puts on. They are an organization that supports and uplifts professionals who identify as women. This year's theme felt super relevant to everything we've been talking about. It's rethinking everything and the power of change. There is breakfast and networking that is served first thing in the morning. There's some breakout sessions with local leaders and influencers. The keynote will be Tunde Oyene. If you don't know who she is, look her up. She's got tons of podcasts and YouTube interviews. She's incredible. She's a Peloton instructor, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur. She discovered she has this gift of bringing people together and wrote a book to it, and it's called Speak. It's about finding your voice, using it to grow, connecting, and getting where you want to go. I'm planning on going, and if you're interested, the summit, again, is October 12th. It's a Wednesday from 9 to 2 at the Milwaukee Athletic Club. Tickets are $125 a person, I believe $150, and then you get a copy of the book. There's a book signing over lunch. If you want to register, you can go to professionaldimensions.org. I thought it would be really fun to get a group of people from Keller Williams together to represent and get inspired. It's a great opportunity, and they say that you'll leave with actionable steps to not only advance in your career, but to affect change within your communities.
Beautiful. Thank you for bringing this opportunity to our group. Guys, I'll tell you this, if you haven't heard of Professional Dimensions, it's an incredibly powerful group of networking women that do incredible things in and around the Milwaukee community. I've had friends attend this event in the past. I think it's an incredible opportunity. So if you're interested, feel free to check it out. I do know that it does sell out on a very regular basis. So if you're interested, great. If not, all good. Thanks, Awesome. All right, now I'm flipping it over to Jody Ulrich from Bank of England, the BOE guys. Again, as we talked about last week, we don't bring vendor partners to you guys very often. We usually bring it around the third quarter. We allow people maybe once, twice a year to speak to our group. We're very protective of our time. And again, make sure that we're providing opportunities to those who support us in a big way. So Jody's going to jump on to talk about affordable solutions and also talk about the market of the moment and what he's seeing from an impact as it relates to rates and affordability. Jody, I'm flipping it to you.
Great. Thank you, Charlie. As Charlie mentioned, my name is Jody Ulrich with Bank of England. Been with Bank of England for 12 years, brought them to the market here 12 years ago. And excited just to be here to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about some solutions and some ideas we're having within the market. I told Charlie I'd keep it under an hour, so I'm going to do my best to do that. No, just kidding. We'll move through these pretty quickly. So really, I just want to kind of set the stage a little bit. This is a survey I wanted to share with you guys about what's going to be happening within the market. We're in a situation where there's just not enough homes, as you guys are seeing out there on a regular basis. And that's why we've seen such rapid appreciation. According to Pulseonomics, which does a survey every year of all the top economists, they're expecting a 26.4% appreciation over the next 5 years, annually 4.8% for each of the next 5 years. So when we think about talking with our clients, we really want to recognize what's really happening within our market as homes continue to appreciate, but also interest rates have been rising. You may or may not have seen what happened in the markets yesterday. Rates jumped between 1/4 and 1/2 point, depending on at what time you were looking at it. It was a really wild day within the market, and we are pretty solidly into that 6 1/4 to 6.875% 30-year fixed interest rate right now. So the question has come up is, how do we continue to make housing affordable? Charlie, if you could move to that next slide. One of the things that we wanted to kind of point out is that cost of waiting. You know, a client that we're talking to today, as they find out that rates will most likely be cheaper in the future, when they really look at what that 4.8% appreciation looks like for each of the next 3 years, how much more is that $300,000 property going to cost them in, let's say, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, or 2 years from now? So you've probably seen that with your clients here over the last few years, that some of them wanted to wait and, okay, I think home prices will come down. Well, we really want to look at the data, and we have a lot of information on that if you want that. We've done a whole series, summer series on are we in a bubble? Is homeownership affordable? And we have a lot of data and stats to back that stuff up. But if you look on that graph there, you can see 1 year from now, they're expecting that $300,000 house to be $316,823 just through appreciation. One of the biggest drivers that we're seeing that are pushing people into the market is how fast rent is going up. I had a client, their rent was $1,000 a month. Their landlord raised the rent to $1,100 a month, and they got their renewal in June, and their rent was going from $1,100 to $1,400 a month. We're seeing about 15% rent appreciation within our market, and that's pushing a lot more people into home ownership. This gentleman was in his late 50s and never owned a home. So we're seeing that happen time and time again. So one of the things that we want to roll out for our clients is what we call our inflation buster. Inflation's been going up. Inflation's been crazy. That will most likely top out come October reading. So in the next few months, and then we'll start to see inflation come back down. When that happens, interest rates are going to come back down. So like I said, we're going to be in that mid 6% rate right now. But the inflation buster, and Charlie, you could go to that next slide. Our inflation buster is really looking at what we would call a reduced interest rate for the first few years. So let's say the going rate in the market is 6.875 right now. This particular loan allows somebody to get into their home and have that introductory rate of 4.875 for the first year. Okay, that's going to save on a $300,000 house about $400 a month. We firmly believe that rates are going to be in the mid to high fours by second to third quarter of next year. Just as if you look at the inflation numbers, again, there's a lot of data that backs that up. But we're thinking rates will be back down into that mid to high fours by second quarter of next year. So this is a great way to allow a client to get into a property and still be able to afford those payments at significantly lower than what the market is offering. This would be great for somebody who maybe recently graduated from grad school or getting an advanced degree, and they're expecting to move up within their career. The second year, that rate goes to 5.875. Again, that's still below market. With that third year going to what the current market rate is. I have 6.875, and that really depends on your credit score. Like I said, as of last week, rates are about 6 1/4. They jumped about a 1/4 to a 1/2 point yesterday, depending on the time frame. Well, why would we roll a product out like this? One is we believe the housing market's going to remain strong for the next 2 to 3 years, based upon the population growth, how many people are coming into the actual market. We think there's going to be still a strong demand. So we're trying to help clients take advantage of that appreciation. As the next thing says, the homes are going to continue to appreciate over the next 5 years. So again, trying to come up with an affordable ways to make that happen. Inflation's going to peak, like I said, in October. And if when rates do come back down to, I guess what you say, more reasonable level of what we've seen over the last 10 years, which is in that, mid to high 4% range, maybe even low 5s, they're going to be able to refinance out of their particular loan and lock into that 30-year fixed. Now, I got to be clear on this. This product is a 30-year fixed rate product. What it does is it just gives you that introductory rate. So if a client's coming today and if the rate's 6.5, we're going to give them that 6.5% rate on a 30-year fix, but we're also going to talk to them about this particular product that's going to give them that introductory rate. And for all of our clients right now, and our entire staff knows this, for all of our clients that close in 2022 on a purchase transaction, we are giving them a free refinance in 2023. That's been another thing that a lot of clients have talked to us about is I don't necessarily know if I want to buy right now because I'm going to incur costs to close on that transaction. And then if I refinance, I'm going to incur more costs. And we really identified that as something that was holding clients back from moving forward and taking advantage of locking in that specific purchase price. So right now we're offering free refinances for anybody that does a purchase in 2022. We will refinance them for free in 2023. Again, we believe rates are going to be at that 4.5% to 5% rate sometime in the second quarter. So want to kind of share that product with you. Anybody have questions on that? I don't, it is relatively new. Yes, Andy.
Can you please help me understand a day like you said yesterday, very volatile, and what happens? What is a volatile day? Is it the trading of the bond market that stirs everything up? What happens that makes a day like yesterday so integral to raising a rate, or was it just the Fed saying raise the rate and everybody else going anyway?
Yes, great question. So last week the Fed met.
Jody,
Yes.
repeat the question for the rest of the group.
Oh, Andy's question is what happened yesterday, or what caused the market to be so volatile yesterday? What was kind of the dynamics of what's happening within the market that would cause the large market fluctuation? So yesterday we saw what they would call about a 150 basis point increase in mortgage bonds. And so what that really means is if the rate was 6.25 yesterday with no points to the client, yet as of yesterday, that would have been 6.25 with 1.5 points to the client. So it's 1.5% of the loan amount. So it's a very extreme jump. You know, that might happen once or twice a year where you'd see that volatile of a jump. Most days the market will change maybe 0.1% versus 1.5%. Well, what would cause something like that? So last week, the Federal Reserve met and they've been raising interest rates. You've probably all seen about this on the news. The Federal Reserve is set to raise interest rates 0.5 or 0.75. And what they're doing is they are trying to fight inflation. As the inflation numbers come out, the Federal Reserve will raise the interest rates to try to pull money out of the money supply and in turn slow down the economy. Inflation, quite simply, is too much money going after too few goods. With supply chain issues, with some of the stimulus packages over the last few years, it's put a lot of money into the economy. So they're trying to slow that down. I think the last reading was 8.6%. But what caused a lot of the chaos here Thursday, Friday, and then again yesterday was the Federal Reserve kind of came back out and said, we're actually going to project significantly more readings, or significantly more hikes, I should say, in our future meetings. And what that meant was we don't believe inflation is under control. So if you push yourself in the eyes of a bondholder or somebody who's holding on to a specific mortgage for let's say at a 3% mortgage, nobody wants to hold a 3% mortgage if inflation is at 8.6%, because you're actually losing money on that loan, right? Because it's at, nobody wants to be at 3% if the cost of dollars increasing at, or cost of goods is increasing at 8.6%. So when they came out and said that they're going to raise rates more in the October and November meetings, that is what is kind of spooked that market. In turn, nobody wants to have these lower interest rate bonds. If the mortgage interest rate is, let's say, 6%, they're selling those bonds on Wall Street as a mortgage-backed security at about 1% lower, which means a 6% mortgage is a 5% mortgage-backed security. So their investors are going, I don't want to hold on to a 5% mortgage-backed security if we think inflation might go to 9%. So yesterday, when they tried to sell bonds, when the market tried to sell bonds at auction, they had very few what they would call bidders or buyers at a 5.5% note, meaning the bond would 6.5% mortgage, but a 5.5% bond. I know that can be a little bit confusing. Nobody wanted to buy it. So nobody wants to buy that. That means we have to raise the interest rate. And that's what really sent the market kind of haywire yesterday. I did see this morning, it came out, it rebounded a little bit.
So Jody, let's boil this down into layman's terms. A lot of supply, not a ton of demand. What do they have to do to fight the increase in inflation? They have to raise rates in order for the banks to start making money again.
That's correct.
Correct. So as you talk to your clients, how do you break it down into layman's terms? The reason why the bond market is so fluctuating is high supply, low demand. It's going to create chaos within the markets while the bank's trying to figure out how to curb inflationary pressures in order for them to make money. And so then what does this mean for me and my client? What does it mean for me and my client is you got to go back and help them understand the cost of waiting in order to get people off the fence.
Yep.
And if you can articulate that with value in understanding how it is that you can help your client get off the fence to save money over the long term of the loan. And the long term of the loan, guess what, is only really 5 to 7 years. But that 5 to 7 year period, in the short term, what does that save their client? How do they create action? What is your value proposition? And how do you articulate that in order to get them off the fence is ultimately how you're going to help you win more deals. Make sense? Cool. Jody, appreciate your support.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate your partnership, and thank you for all you guys do for our squad here at KW.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, next up, Tech Tuesday. I'm flipping it over to Vranik, and we're going to talk about activities around the 36 touch marketing plan and ways in which she can help you make your life easier by implementing a plan and what she can do for you. Vranik, I'm flipping it to you.
All right, good morning, everybody. So as we approach the end of the year, we talk a lot about fall cleanup and reassessing our database and reassessing our lead generation systems and models. And so today I just wanted to take some time to remind the group of what exactly is a 36 touch marketing plan. So Charlie, if you want to go to the next slide, the 36 touch marketing plan, it is a systematic marketing and prospecting technique which will ensure year-round contact with your Met database. So the people that know you. The goal is when they think of real estate, they think of you. And so this is directly from the MREA. For every 12 people in your Met contact database to which you market yourself 33 times, so this has been updated, so it's now 36 times, you can reasonably expect to net 2 sales. So one of those sales will likely be repeat business and the other referral business. So obviously, if that's for every 12 people, the more people in your database, the more transactions you can expect out of that database.
Guys, if you have a pen and paper, write this down, 12 and 2. Okay,
Yeah.
12 and 2. It's not 1 and 6, it's 12 and 2. Why? One's a repeat piece of business and one's a referral piece of business. We talked about making noise. How do you create noise? With more noise. Okay, the ratio in terms of your activities is 12 to 2. If you touch every single person in your database 36 times, right? For every 12 people you do that, you should expect 2 pieces of business, 1 repeat, 1 referral. That's the whole point of the activities in which Lindsay is helping you try to implement. Lindsay, I'm flipping it to you.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys, Charlie has been hammering this home for months now. To amplify the intensity and frequency of your marketing, you need to 2x your database and 3x your activities. So as we are heading into that shift, you need to start doing this if you haven't already. And so having that 36 touch marketing plan is going to help you establish this and put you on the right trajectory in order to get those pieces of business. So for the last couple of weeks, Kathleen and I have been holding our tech and marketing masterminds all around how to establish a 36 touch marketing plan. And so it's laid out for you. We help you implement this. And so the first thing is figuring out, what exactly am I going to do? Am I emailing my database? Am I sending out direct mailers? Am I calling them? Am I popping by? Am I doing client events? So it's establishing, what exactly are you doing 36 times a year to reach your database? And so come to our trainings. If you haven't established this yet, or if you need to revamp this at all, we are here to help you figure this out. And the tools that you have at your disposal, just within Command, is going to allow you to do that. And so I just want to plug our trainings every single week. We have a training in every single market center. So North Shore, it's every Tuesday at 11:30, directly after launch coaching. At the innovation office, it's Thursdays at 11 a.m. And then Lake Country, it's at 10:30, directly after productivity coaching. So you guys, come to our trainings this week. Again, it's all about setting up your 36 touch. And it's how you can utilize smart plans. It's how you can utilize direct mail, social media, all on how to reach out to your Met database. And so you guys reach out if you have any questions, attend our trainings, set up some one-on-ones. But we really want to make sure that you have something established for 2022. If you're attending Bold, this is a great kind of precursor to that as well. So that's all I got. Thanks, Charlie.
Vranek, I got something to help support your cause. And guys, I'm going to play something here that I shared last week on my Instagram page that a handful of people commented on. But I'm going to play something to you as it relates to your activities and your amplifying your intensity and frequency in the way in which you touch your clients to get you to think differently. Because again, I will say it and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. We have a lot of really good lead receivers. We don't have a lot of people that are hunters. And what does that mean as the market starts to shift and units are down 20%? How are you going to go hunt for the business that you desire to earn in order to make the income you desire for you and your family? Okay, so take a look at this video real quick as it relates to the activities. And
I think most people have a dramatic underestimation of how much volume it takes to be successful. They're like, okay, I should go on 5 dates and then find the girl I'm going to marry. What if it was 500 to find the right girl you're going to marry? I want to become an influencer, whatever it is, and they start doing 1 post a day for 4 weeks, and they're like, why am I not famous yet? We ended up doing 400 episodes before we made it to the top 10 on the podcasts. It's just this volume game that you get the skill from the volume, the feedback from the volume. First time you squat, you're barely actually squatting. You're just looking like you have a bar on your back, but you learn so much between that first rep and your 10,000th reps. And so I think my goal, if I can just decrease the action threshold for people to begin and be okay with the fact that they're going to suck, and it is okay to suck. You should expect to suck. And it would be unreasonable for you to be good if you haven't done it before. And so it's like, are you asking the universe to be unreasonable for you by expecting to be good on your first try? Well, it's the expectation that destroys their ability to be successful because they expect to win on the first shot, and no one does. I think most people have a dramatic...
There you go. Don't be afraid of the activities. Don't be afraid to give yourself a shot. And the action items that you need in order to be successful. It's a quantity game, right? It's a quantity game. And I hear so many people that are like, oh, I got to get my email set up perfect. Oh, I got to get my newsletter set up perfect. Oh, I have to have the best website. Bullshit. It's a quantity game. Do the activities, do the quantity, and the results will show up. Why? Because it's all about conversion ratios. And if you spend too much time on all the activities and you don't have systems set up in which the activities will run for you, guess what? You will always be a lead receiver, and your business will ebb and flow with the way the market moves. If you want to control your own business, you have to set up systems and models as it relates to your lead generation activities in order to build the business you desire to build. Make sense? That's what Lindsay is preaching, and that's what she's here to do to make your life easier. All right. With that, I'm flipping it over to Sheriff Reed, because Sheriff Reed's going to talk a little bit around what constitutes proof. Sheriff Reed, I'm flipping to you. No? Joni? Steph, you there? Bueller? All right. I'm going to hang tight, and I'm going to keep moving unless Joni is on. Yeah, crickets. Crickets? All right. I'll check in on Sheriff Reed. Hopefully she's doing okay. It's unlike her to not be present and ready. So we'll jump back into what constitutes proof, because I don't want to portray the wrong information. All right, so flipping it into winter is coming. We've talked a little bit around this, right? The energy dial. What does it mean as we enter the third and fourth quarter and we roll into the first quarter? We've talked about the fall cleanup, and we've talked about the winter renewal. And my challenge to you the last several weeks has been this: are you working on your business, or are you working in your business? Because as the business starts to slow in the third and fourth quarter and we head into the first quarter is the period of time in which you should be working on your business. Right? Get off the hamster wheel of working in your business. Get on working on your business. Okay. Next up. So last week we had about 24, 25 people. We hosted a mastermind of our top agents. It's called our Agent Leadership Council. We had an incredible morning. Sarah Oberbrunner hosted us in her condo overlooking Fowler Lake, and we had a great mastermind. And the topic of the mastermind was this: there are 5 life hacks that I've been studying, and I read a book most recently that talked around the 5 most productive people in the world. The most productive people in the world, the most efficient people in the world, the most successful people in the world have 5 characteristics and qualities that they all pay attention to. Okay. And we masterminded on this topic last week, and I posed the question to the group as this: what is it that the top 5% of producing agents do that the 95% of agents don't do? That if they were doing, they would have all the things they desired or wanted. I'm going to repeat that. What is it that the top 5% of producing agents do that the other 95% of agents don't do? Okay, and I want you to think about it as it relates to your business and your time and who you compare yourself to from a peer standpoint, or who you desire to be, right? And again, comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm not asking you to compare yourself to somebody else, but why is it that some people are able to do 50 million, 100 million, 10 million, whatever it is that they desired in order to be successful? And again, 10 million could be what they desire to be successful. But what is it that they do that other people don't do from holding them back? Here are the 5 hacks, okay? And if you look, and this studied people across all industry, all business, and I'm going to correlate this to the real estate market. Here are the 5 hacks. And guess what? It's pretty simple. Okay. First, everybody has clear goals. The top producing, most effective, most efficient people of their time have clear goals, and they aren't set in terms of units or the amount, or it's not set in a unit amount. It's what do they have to earn in order to live the life they desire, right? You have to run your business like a business. Do you have goals? Do you have a blueprint for where it is that you are and where it is that you desire to go? And do you know the path in which you plan to get there? 2, they track their numbers. I've been very fortunate. Back when I was at Miller, I had a lot of interaction with the CEO at Miller. His name was Gavin Hattersley. Okay. My interactions with Gavin were this: the guy could read any number off the top of his head as it relates to any of our key performance indicators within the business like that. Every single morning, he had a high level overview in terms of what his numbers looked like in terms of our key performance indicator, Nielsen metrics, distribution numbers, supply chain issues, anything that looks like, right? And it talked about how, if you're Elon Musk and he talks about getting to the moon, what are the numbers that he's tracking in order to define success? And if you don't know what you're tracking, how do you know where it is that you are and where it is that you desire to go in order to close the gap? It's amazing to me how many agents don't track their numbers. They have no clue. They have no clue whether they're on the right track or wrong track. They just hope, and hope is not a strategy. 3, time. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. How I spend my time, how you spend your time, how Jay spends his time, how Bruce spends his time, how Karen spends her time is totally different. But those that have created scale within their businesses, again, whether it's in real estate or whether it's outside of real estate, everybody only has 24 hours in the day. The difference between you and somebody else who you would define as being successful is the way in which they use their time efficiently and effectively. Because freedom comes from discipline. Freedom comes from discipline in terms of how you spend your time. Okay. The first question I ask when someone says, hey, you know what? My year isn't going the way in which I want. Hey, you know what? I'm not having the best business year. Hey, I don't understand why it is that my business isn't going off like somebody else, or this, that, and the other. The first question I ask them is, great. If you want to spend time with me, bring me the last 30 days of your calendar and let's look at your calendar. It will help me identify where your priorities lie. 4, they have selected lead gen activities. Everybody who's the most productive, most efficient people in the world, they understand the activities it is that they need to do every single day in order to get there. And I'm going to use Elon Musk as an example. He has benchmarks that he knows him and his team have to hit every single day. If he wants to shoot somebody into space, and mind you, the responsibility of shooting someone into space is exorbitant because you have somebody's life in your hands. They are tracking their activities every single day because they don't take it for granted. And then 5, the most highly productive, most efficient people in the world have accountability to something or someone other than themselves. They have coaches, they have mentors, they have masterminds, they have a network and a community that they lean on and rely on in order to make sure that they're pushing themselves, and they have diversity of thought and diversity of approach. Right? The top people in the world don't say, I am successful because I hold myself accountable. There's 100% ego driven. The top most effective people in the world say, I am successful because I have a board that holds me accountable. I am successful because I have a coaching, a mentor of someone who pulled me along the way. I am successful because I have other people. And guess what? I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you feel like you've hit a ceiling, you're missing a relationship in your life. If you feel like you're hitting a ceiling, you're missing a relationship in your life. So what does that look like? The most highly successful people insert a really healthy level of accountability. There you go. Read an incredible book, listened to a podcast recently all around the 5 life hacks. These things aren't rocket science. It's the way in which we implement them, or the way in which they show up is ultimately which will help you define success, whatever success looks like for you. Well, if you only want to sell 6 million a year, that's great. Your time is going to be spent in certain ways. Your activities are going to be spent in certain ways. And are you tracking what it means to get to 6 million, 12 million, 60 million, whatever it is that your goals may be? 5 most important hacks if you want to define yourself in order to be successful in 2023, despite what the market throws at you. This is what you got to pay attention to. So as we head into the 3rd and 4th quarter, and we're challenging you to work on your business instead of working in your business, I'd be taking a look at what are my goals? How am I tracking my numbers? What does it look like in terms of how I'm effectively utilizing my time? What are my activities in which I'm investing in order to see the returns? And who and where and how is accountability showing up within my life? There you go. The 5 life hacks for the highly most successful people in the world. Cool. All right, flipping it over. Last thing, as I told you, we're going to be highly efficient and move fast and move quick this morning. Upcoming trainings and events. So last week we did vision boards with about 20 to 30 people in the North Shore. Today in Lake Country, we have vision boards, and next week here in Innovation. If you don't know, again, it's impossible to know where it is that you want to go if you don't know what you have a vision for your life, right? What does it look like in terms of the activities you need to do if it is that perfect vacation or whatever it is that you desire? You need a new car, you need a new house, you want to buy a second house down in Florida. Whatever it is that you may be, you need to create that vision for what it looks like, and you need to look at it every day in order to hold yourself accountable. 2, this week, Wednesday, I am hosting a Market of the Moment panel with Leanne Plooster, Marcus Auerbach, Kevin Gardy. Wednesday at 10 a.m. I'm going to do it via Zoom. For those of you who've jumped on in the past, it's meat and potatoes, fast-paced, quick hitting. We dive right into the market of the moment to understand how Leanne, Marcus, and Kevin are building their businesses despite market trends. Because if you're far outpacing market averages, you are taking share, and all 3 of these people are taking share at an unbelievable clip. So join us on Wednesday at 10 a.m. for the conversation. Next up, October training calendar will come out here this week. Just wanted to a few call outs and shout outs. 1, Bold starts on Tuesday, October 11th over at the Zoo Conference Center. We got Pizza Call Night coming back on Wednesday the 12th. Again, Pizza Call Night is an activity-based, do something with a group, creating a small community to help you flex the muscle. As they talked about in the video I showed, it's expectations of failure are too low, or expectations of success are too low. We have to be able to flex the muscle in order to help you get to where it is that you want to do. And we found success in people doing it in groups. So October 12th is Pizza Call Night. We've got the Admin Mastermind on the 14th. Maureen and Friends on the 21st, and Paul will be hosting Paul's Ride for the Pork in Tosa on the 21st. More news to come on that. And then we rock right into Bold on the 26th. Age and Financials coming up. And then last thing, if you are running a team or you're interested in running a team, Rick Rubin will be hosting a mastermind on October 27th, all around ratios and activities you need to be paying attention to and what it means to lead a team at the highest level. We will be reaching out to create an invite for that experience. If you are interested in running a team at the highest level, Rick's going to dive into the business model of ways in which the key performance indicators he looks at on October 27th. Guys, that is it for this week. Fast-paced, quick hitters. Wanted to give you the 5 life hacks. I'm going to check in with Sheriff Reed to make sure that she is all good. And, oh, Joni's internet's out. That would explain it. I'll check in with her, but we'll make sure that we have what constitutes proof for you guys next week, because there have been a lot of questions around proof of funds for people that have been writing cash offers. Sound good? All right. Again, if we don't need to spend an hour together, I won't waste your time for an hour. We had 30 minutes of content today, 30 minutes it is. Lake Country, I'll let you jump over to the Lake Country meetup. North Shore and Innovation Crew will jump over to new listings and buyer needs. Guys, have a great week. Thanks for showing up.
Good morning, all.